Following program is for training purposes in TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of materials.
Hello everyone, welcome to this special edition of K-Sports Sunday. It is Selection Sunday, so we will get to that in a minute. I'm Jason here. Joining me is Amon next to me, and we also have Sam and Dylan Q on the other side. And joining us in a little bit is Mike Dowling, WCVB Channel 5 newscaster. He will be joining us in a little bit, but we begin with a fashion show. And when you think of raising money for charity, you might think of the Pan Mask Challenge or maybe a golf tournament. Well, in Natick a few weeks ago, there was an event that involved fashion with some pretty impressive models from the sports media world. This was all for the benefit of breast cancer and the Art Because Breast Cancer Foundation. Mr. and Mrs. Jason Barrett Captain stole the show for sure. Other sports celebrities included former Boston Celtics forward Walter McCarty. The 6'8" McCarty has rejoined the Celtics to make appearances like this in the community. But the biggest name was from the New England Patriots. That's tight end Rob Gronkowski, who threw off his coat and did a little dance at the end of the runway. At least he kept his shirt on this time. But wait, there are members of the media in this too, and is that really? Oh my God, yes it is. It's Jimmy Young of Young Broadcasters of America, sporting a Zegna suit and some flashy socks. Way to go, Jimmy. All the celebrities talked to YBA reporter TJ Horgan about the importance of giving back to the community.
Do you to give back at events like this?
Oh, it's very important because that's what life is all about. I always tell people I speak to, give without remembering, take without forgetting. And it's very important when we're in a position to be able to give back and especially raise money for a great cause for people who especially need it. It's a no-brainer. So enjoy being here, enjoy meeting all the folks, and hopefully we raise a lot of money to help.
Well, and you have, I have my wife who is, as she said, she's a cancer survivor.
You can hear me in there?
Anything that we can do to help, take the next step so our children don't have to go through what she's gone through. So prevention, number one.
There's many athletes always giving back. You see many people with charity. You see many people out there. I mean, it always doesn't get publicized. A lot of athletes I see do it under the radar. A lot of athletes, there's a lot of media, but there's a lot of great guys in NFL. NBA, MLB, doing great things, doing great.
Well, Jason, that was a very nice thing of the Veritex to do. But moving on, as you guys know, David Krejci of the Boston Bruins was injured, I think last game. He has a contusion on his leg, but he was able to walk under his own power back to the team bus. What are your thoughts on his injury and his progress and what's going to come up for him?
Well, if he's out for an extended period amount of time, I think that's when the injury will become a problem. But obviously, if you're the Bruins, you want him back as fast as you can right now. The Bruins having some trouble winning the big games. Obviously, today losing to Pittsburgh. And Krejci, he can give you that boost in offense, good center, good face-off man. So they're going to need him back as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think the Bruins need him. You need depth to win a championship, and if he can't be back by the playoffs, it's a problem. But the good news for a shortened season, it's easier for them to make the playoffs for the shortened season. It's not like them losing from a long period of time. So since it's a shortened season, they have a pretty safe bet to make the playoffs at this point. Once if they're top seed in the playoffs, don't have to be the top seed, but if they're some kind of top seed in the playoffs, then like a top 4 or whatever, then I think they'll be fine. If he comes back, then I think they'll be fine. But yeah, they do need him because it's depth,
Yeah. Look at the top 4 seeds in the NHL, how congested they are. So really, the difference between the 1 seed and the 4 seed right now is 3 points for the Bruins. So obviously, big games count.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you definitely want him. David Krejci, he is tied for the most points on the Bruins with 24, 17 assists. As well as 7 goals, so he can score if he needs to, but he can also pass the puck to find someone else who's open.
Yeah, he definitely contributes to the team. Even his presence there, even if he's not scoring, just how he contributes and what he does for the team is really important. So he's a good leader, and he really does a lot for the Bruins.
Yeah, and the Bruins, the last thing they need is injuries. They just lost Chris Kelly a few games ago to a broken left tibia. So again, depth is something that can help a team, especially in a short season where there are a lot more games in a shorter amount of time. And then when you get to playoff time, so injuries is the last thing that this team needs in really a very tough Eastern Conference.
Yep, definitely. So, yeah, moving on, we have David Ortiz, who injured his I think it's heel, and you guys know that he is obviously a huge part of the Red Sox organization. What are your thoughts on what he is going, how his progress and his prognosis is going to be, and how this will affect the Red Sox not only in the regular season but in spring training and preparing for the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of controversy came around when they signed him to the 2-year, $26 million. He's 37 years old. Obviously injured the heel, trotting the bases in a home run last summer. So when you look at the injury he has, his age, you wonder if $26 million was a lot. And now they're wondering, is he even going to be able to be ready for opening day this coming April? So obviously the Red Sox need him because even though Ortiz is 37 years old, he's still one of the biggest offensive contributors on the team, still one of the most feared hitters in the American League and the MLB in general. So obviously it hurts to not have him, and they need him back as soon as they can.
Yeah, I mean, when you pay a guy like $26 million and he's old, when you risk him to injury, it feels like they're paying him too much money. And yeah, they do need him. I mean, he's been a very key player throughout the Red Sox whole time. He's been a very key player, and for spring training, yeah, even if he comes back in the regular season, if they're not used to him, and with the lineup, that's changed the lineup. It might be when he gets back, and if he was in the lineup for spring training, then it would be easier for them to get used to it. But now that lineup's gonna have to be switched around more. So now it might be, lineup in baseball might not be the most important thing, but guys, when they're used to hitting, it could affect who gets on. And yeah, with Ortiz, the momentum, when he's back, even if he's back, he's not going to be great right away because spring training's going to get all that practice. And now, when your regular season, he's not going to be exactly ready to do it. So
Ortiz, he doesn't do everything just on the field, but off the field. He really is a leader in the clubhouse because he's a veteran. He's been with the Red Sox for a long time, and especially when with Jason Varitek retiring last season, Ortiz is really one of the only players left from the 2004 and 2007 World Series runs. So to not have him on the field, or he may not be as active because he's frustrated with his injury, so that hurts the team mentally as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just similarly to David Krejci, his presence there is huge morale booster. Just knowing you have a guy like David Ortiz on your team is such a huge thing. Like, oh wow, David Ortiz, now we're gonna be a lot better. So just with him gone, the Red Sox really need to. This is a good test for the Red Sox to see how they handle this and how they respond and what they will do to cover up for the loss of David Ortiz.
Yeah, and the Red Sox, this is going to be a really tight division. You have the Yankees. Rafael Soriano is retiring, so even with all their injuries, you would think they would try to make a run. The Orioles, who Mariano Rivera, not Rafael Soriano, and the Orioles, they're a young upstart team with a great coach and manager in Buck Showalter. The Tampa Bay Rays, they did lose James Shields, but I think Matt Moore could pick up that slack. They have David Price who won the AL Cy Young. And then the Blue Jays added R.A. Dickey from the Mets. He has struggled, but this is Ricky Romero, who was their top starter last year, is now their 5th starter. So the last thing that this Red Sox team needs is injuries. This is a team that that has struggled for the past few years. What do you guys think? Can the Red Sox make a run this year?
Yeah, I think they could. I do think they're going to be better than last year, definitely. New manager, John Farrell, last year was just total mess with Bobby Valentine, just having a mess. So the Red Sox are definitely better this year. Their players, the relationship with Bobby Valentine just wasn't good, He wasn't really meant to be there. The players weren't happy. He wasn't happy. With a new manager, I think the players already knew him. A lot of them already knew him. John Farrell is the pitching coach, so the pitching staff was very good when John Farrell was pitching coach. So I definitely do think he can So I definitely do think that the Red Sox could be good. The question is, though, they've lost some guys, big names, like Adrian Gonzalez last year, Josh Beckett, last year didn't do what people were expecting them to do, but now new guys are going to have to step in, and not all the guys are guys that have really had that much experience with the Red Sox, but they do have some names from last year coming back, like guys like Will Middlebrook. So I think the Red Sox definitely are going to be better than last year. Plus, getting a few free agents might help them too. New culture. Anytime there's a new culture, there's always a good chance they could make some noise.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to be worse than they were last year, and if they are, then we have some serious problems. So I think they'll be better this year than last year. Like you said, they've added some names. Shane Victorino was probably the biggest name. Johnny Gomes, Mike Napoli. Hopefully, Will Middlebrook is able to come back, return healthy. Because if he can come back and be healthy, I think he's got potential to be one of the top players in the American League, third basemen. But you also look at guys like David Ortiz. You hope he can come back. Hope he can contribute to the offense. So I think the Red Sox can compete this year. I think they will be overall a good team this year. But when you talk about long shot, World Series, deep playoff runs, I don't think we're talking about that. I think we're talking about above 500 or competing for that one wild card spot.
Yeah, and the Red Sox they have added some other really good, better clubhouse guys such as Johnny Gomes. And do you guys think with perhaps David Ortiz not being able to perhaps being on the disabled list for the start of the season, do you think guys like Johnny Gomes or younger guys like Will Middlebrooks, do you think they will be able to step up?
Well, keep in mind they're still young and it's all about learning and getting experience. They also have Pedro Siriaco, but another person who was injured a lot, Jacoby Ellsbury, and if we add him back this year, and if he stays healthy, we can be looking at a pretty good year. But it's a lot about rebounding and team morale and just the character of the players. That we didn't do too well last year. How can we do this year, and how can we be better? So I think it'll be a team contribution and a team effort to see how well they can do. It's not just the skill set of the players.
Yeah, so we're going to take a break now, but coming up, WCVB Channel 5's Mike Dowling will be coming on with us so we can talk college basketball.
Stay with it. Stay with it. All right, keep talking. Keep doing it.
All right, so as we will have Mike Dowling coming in a little bit, WCVB Channel 5 sportscaster, so we'll get to March Madness in a bit, but we'll continue with the Red Sox.